Hello, my name is Michael. I teach saxophone at Sage Music. What you just heard was the chromatic scale, which is simply put all the notes on your instrument. That was from the lowest note, low B flat on the alto saxophone, to a palm key F, high F. So it's important to know the chromatic scale. That means you know all the notes on your instrument. So without further ado, let's look at the technique to do it right. So, if you're a bari player, you actually have a different low note than everyone else. If you have a baritone saxophone made 1950s and later, which is probably most of you, you'll actually have an extra key underneath your left thumb rest. So that would be right here, opposite of your octave key. So what you would do is put all your fingers down. So that'd be your B key, A, G, F, E, D, your low C pinky key, and your left hand B flat key. Mine's over here off to the side. Yours might be, again, if you have a modern instrument, yours is probably going to be down here. Mine's off over to this side. This is also your fingering for a low B flat so far. So finger a low B flat. Baritone saxophonist will put their thumb on this additional key. They're going to get a note that sounds like a concert C2. So I don't have that note, obviously, on alto saxophone. I'm going to have our low B flat. So we just went over that fingering. To go up to a B natural, what I'm going to do on this old con is flex my pinky in a little bit. You'll notice how I rolled across the pinky roller to get to the low B key, which for me is a pinky flex towards the palm to get to a low B. For most of you, that's probably going to be closer to a lateral pinky movement. You'll have a roller across the bottom of the key here. You'll move up toward that low B. To play low C, simply remove the pinky and all your other fingers from low A up till now are ready to play a low C already. To go from low C to low C sharp, that's the low C fingering you just finished. Slight flex even closer. Your left pinky toward your palm. Press down that other pinky key. I call this the outside pinky key. If you think of your low B as your inside. So that'd be the outside pinky key combined with your low C fingering. To play D, you're going to lift both pinkies up and release those keys. Don't let your pinkies go too far. You're going to need them very soon, and it's a good habit to keep all your fingers curved even when not in use. So to play a low D, simply remove those two pinkies. To play a low D sharp or E flat, I'll take your lower right pinky, and where it was down here on the second bottom key for low C, you're gonna do a lateral movement up compared to the low C, that is. If you're playing low D, which I know you were right before, you're just going to simply press that key down. To play a low E, you will lift your right pinky and ring finger. Again, don't let them leave too far from the keys. You want to stay close by. You don't want to drift. You want to stay right above the keys. intend you're going to use them again. So that's your E. F is simply lifting the middle finger. To play F sharp, there's multiple fingerings, but specifically the chromatic scale fingering you should use is to flex your ring finger slightly, or quite a bit compared to where it normally is. This time you will leave the key pearl. There should be a key right here. So you're going to do your normal F fingering. Flex that key in, flex that right ring finger in toward the palm. Press that key down. Now you've got your chromatic. Well, it's not called your chromatic F sharp, but it's the F sharp that's best suited for the chromatic scale. To play G is easy. You just release all keys in the right hand. Return your right ring finger to hover above the D key. All your fingers should hover above the respective pearls. Your pinky can hover above either your D sharp E flat or your low C. For most people, that's probably going to be your D sharp E flat. Unless you've got huge hands, maybe it'll be the low C. So where were we? I think we were at G. So that was F sharp to G. To play G sharp or A flat, you're going to depress the top left pinky key. This will be in the same place for all horns. So that's a pretty natural position for your pinky. So you should just be able to depress your pinky key, or depress your pinky to find the key. And that's going to be G to G sharp. To play A, you'll lift both your left pinky and ring finger. To play A sharp or B flat, there are multiple fingerings here again, but there's one that is best for chromatic scale and chromatic passages. That's going to be, you retain the A fingering that you just finished, and with your right hand, you're going to do a slight pronation with your right forearm, very slight. You're going to keep your thumb under the thumb hook, of course, but you're going to do a slight pronation, and with your base knuckle of the index finger, you're going to, I don't know if you can see that, you're going to tap that lowest of the 3 side keys. You shouldn't be doing it like this. A lot of people go crazy, let their fingers leave the keys. But if you want good technique, keep your fingers close like you have been all along. And that'll be A to A sharp or B flat. To play B natural, you'll lift, or you'll return your right forearm back to its neutral position, and you'll lift your left middle finger. To play C, again, there's a few options here. Most people learn the front C first, but we're going to learn the side C because, again, that's better for the chromatic scale and chromatic passages. So you're going to retain that B fingering that you just finished, and again, you're going to do a slight pronation with your right forearm, but this time you're aiming for that middle key, and you might hit this time with more the this first section of the index finger. So again, don't let your fingers go flying. They will leave a little bit, but keep the general curved finger shape, so when you return to the keys, they'll just fall back in place. So that's going to be, I forgot where we were. No, it's B natural to C. And then your fingertips should return to the resting position. So to play C sharp from there, you're going to retain the C natural fingering that you had, and then let go of both keys in both hands. Return your right forearm to its neutral position. No keys are pressed here. This is the open note on the saxophone. But that is not an excuse to let your fingers go flying. You need them to stay close so that you can maintain control over your instrument. So that is C sharp, and then we're going to go to the first key using the octave key. That's octave key D. So it's going to be like the low D fingering you had before, which is your first, second, third in both hands. Some people call this 4, 5, 6. Or in other words, your B, A, G, F, E, D keys are all depressed. And you're going to use this top thumb key. Baritone players did the bottom key earlier. Now all of us are going to use the octave key here. And note how I'm using it. I like to think of it as a gas pedal. The heel, let's say, of your foot, or this knuckle of the thumb, would rest on the thumb platform, the thumb rest here. And then you can think of the toe, or the tip of your thumb, hitting the gas pedal. So just a gentle depression of that key. You shouldn't be picking up the key like this for your octave key, or the baritone saxophonist shouldn't be picking up very far and going all the way down for their A key. So again, that's your B, A, G, F, E, D keys all depressed, plus the octave key. So from C sharp to D, that's no fingers to almost all of your fingers. Let's get a shot of the octave key that time. Now, since this was the first fingering that repeats itself, and it's far from the last, so the entire second octave is actually the same fingerings that you just did. So that'll be, so the D that you played, D sharp, E flat from before. The only difference is this entire second range, you're going to keep that octave key down. Release those pinky and ring fingers for E. Release the middle finger for F. Flex and press the ring finger for the F sharp. Release all right hand keys for G. Oh, almost missed that. Depress your top pinky key for G sharp. Release ring and pinky for A. Pronate the forearm, the right forearm slightly for A sharp, B flat. Release the side key, return your right arm to its neutral position. Release the left middle finger key for B natural. Pronate the right arm again, aiming for the middle key this time for C, just like before. And then the open key again. So for all of those, same fingerings as before, but you had the octave key down the whole time. So from D up to the C sharp. All right, so that's 2 full octaves and some change on the saxophone so far. Few more keys within the standard range of the horn, but this time fingerings don't repeat. So now you're going up to your third D. So this is known as palm key D, and you retain, or you keep pressing down that octave key for basically everything beyond that octave, that first octave key D, or your second D. So octave key is down still. Fingers are open, but this time you're going to move your bass knuckle of the left hand in to hit this key here. You can see mine fairly easily because it's got some cork on it, but you're going to, so because mine has cork on it, I'm not going to have to move very much. You might have to move a little farther to reach your D key. That's all right, but the motion is essentially this. Maybe this is the best angle. So from C sharp to palm key D, that's a slight move inward, again with your left bass knuckle of the index finger. To go from there to D sharp or E flat, you'll keep that D fingering along with the octave key, of course, and do a slight lateral movement away from your middle finger with your index finger, And now I'm hitting the E flat key with the second, or that middle knuckle of the index finger. That's D to D sharp or E flat. To play E natural, again, for the chromatic scale, we're going to use the best chromatic scale fingering. There are multiple options here, but you're going to, once again, so you're going to keep that E flat fingering that you just learned, and then once again, you're going to pronate the right forearm, but this time you're going to have to reach a little bit farther for that very top key of the 3 side keys. So that's the top key in the right hand. To go from there to our final note, palm key F, you're going to keep the high E fingering, and your left middle finger, you might be able to see, is right over this final palm key, but you're not going to literally hit that with your palm. It's going to be more like the second knuckle of the middle finger in the left hand. So again, that's your high E fingering from before. And your second knuckle, your fingers don't have to go far from the keys, especially if you have key risers, or I guess if you have small hands, that's going to work out for you too. So that's going to be high E to high F. I don't know if you can hear that, but the natural wonders of New York traffic are singing along with me for that high F. So there you go. Now you can play your chromatic scale with all the correct fingerings and with good technique. So get practicing and you'll be ready for Flight of the Bumblebee really soon. All right. Thanks.